Evade Flash was the fastest build in Season 6. It is still the fastest in Season 7 for farming open-world content. You can flash farm Helltide, Undercity, Infernal Hordes, and pit up to Tier 85. Actually, it is faster to use this build to level up your glyph to 85. Then switch to stronger build like Quill Volley, which can do pit 100 and above. You can refer to my Quill Volley overpower build in the description section. As many already have experience on the Flash Evade build last season, I will be very brief on its mechanic. I only focus on the changes in Season 7 after Blizzard fixed the bugs in Viscous Shield and redirected Force. The mechanic of this build is very simple. Select Eagle on the upper Spirit Hall. When you evade, it will shoot out storm feathers which travel far and penetrate enemies along its path. It is the fastest farming build because you can one-shoot enemies at the edge of the screen. The constant evades allow you to travel in the map quickly even in small rooms in dungeon. The damage from Stormfeather can be scaled up with Stormfeather and primary Spirit Hall tempering affix on gears. Paragon's glyph include Jagged Plume, Talon, Canny and Fulminate can increase its damage as Stormfeather is both Eagle and Lightning damage. You can get base damage of Stormfeather at 2 million with min-max gears and Paragon's node. This will become 100 millions in real damage after other multipliers. As Viscous Shield bug already fixed and Maximum Resolve's tempering removed, therefore in Season 7 we no longer stack the Maximum Life and Maximum Resolve stack like previous season. We stack the Maximum Armor instead, because unyielding hits can increase your weapon damage based on your armor. Weapon damage is a separate multiplier. Like your polearm average damage is 662 damage per hit. Unyielding hits can increase the weapon damage to additional 1,500 at maximum. This will give you 220% multiplicative damage if you cap your armor. The armor cap is not for your character, which is 1,000. It is based on the maximum weapon damage of 1,500 for this aspect. The armor cap depends on where you put the aspect. If you put on a ring, which I recommend, the damage is based on 30% of your armor equal to 5,000. If you put on amulet or your polearm, the armor cap is lower because the damage of unyielding hits is capped at 1,500 damage. As you can see, my armor is near 5,000, therefore I do not put it on amulet for min-maxing. I put redirected force on polearm and conceive on amulet to boost the damage from these two aspects. If you have issue to reach high armor cap, put unyielding hits on amulet will lower the armor cap to 3,333. Unyielding hits can only trigger with Gorilla skills which last 3 seconds. Therefore, I include both Gorilla skills Armor Hide and Concussive Stomps. Armor Hide has longer cooldown, while Concussive Stomps cooldown is around 4 seconds with a max greater affix cooldown on Chakro. You can rotate both Armor Hide and Concussive Stomps for 100% uptime of unyielding hits. You may wonder why I don't use Crushing Hand or Rock Splitter, as both Gorilla skills has no cooldown. The reason is these two skills require a target to cast. They are not good choice to buff unyielding hits. You can see when I try to cast Crushing Hand or Rock Splitter, my character is just moving and not casting any skill until I am within range of a target. In Evade build we one-shoot enemies from far away. We will have no close target to cast these two Gorilla skills. You can see the effect of Concussive Stomps by compare the attack power after you press the skills. It is more triple when I press Concussive Stomps. You can use this method to check the effect of how much armor will cap your damage. Let me walk through you the gears to explain the other multipliers which can increase your damage. Chakro is must for reduce the cooldown of Evade. Try to get a greater affix on cooldown reduction. If you can't get, then the next best option is armor. You have to masterwork the cooldown reduction affix 100% evade uptime. For chest, it is Shroud of False Death. Take the one with greater affix on all stats as maximum life no longer useful. On glove, get a high roll Fist of Fate with greater affixes on critical chance. Critical damage will be another big source of damage. Therefore you need to keep 100% critical chance. Attack speed is not required as you attack with evade only. On pants, pick the one with greater affix on armor to help reach the 5,000 armor cap. Masterwork the armor affix as well. We still temper with barrier generation as viscous shields still give 33% multiplicative damage with 100% barrier, even after bug fix. The second temper affix is total armor. Interdiction is still required to achieve 100% block chance for redirected force. Although maximum resolve stacks are removed from tempering, you still can get 8 stacks from armor hide passive. It is more than enough as you need that to achieve 100% block chance. Redirected force will not gain damage for more than 100% block chance after bug fix. For boots, pick either greater affix on armor, movement speed, or dexterity. Masterwork only the armor affix. First temper use evade cooldown reduction, secondary temper is Scourge size. Scourge gives you 50% damage on crowd control enemy, but its size is small. We use this affix to make sure it hits all enemy on the screen as you will hit them from far. With menacing aspect on boots, the Scourge will follow you for a few seconds to inflict crowd control on more enemies. On weapon, use polearm only as it has higher average damage as slower weapon. Chose the one with greater affix on dexterity. Other important affix includes critical strike damage. First temper affix is primary Eagle Spirit Hull potency, second affix is Storm Feather potency. When you masterwork the polearm, try to hit either one will be good, both of them will increase the damage of Storm Feather. We use redirected force on polearm to double the damage of this aspect, nevertheless its damage is capped at 100% block chance. The damage from redirected force is flat as you can see on your character's stat. It will become double if you manage to block incoming damage. But evade flash build will kill the enemy from far, therefore you will not able to trigger the double bonus in most cases unless you fight tanky enemies from close distance. For amulet, pick greater affix on total armor or critical chance. First temper affix is barrier generation. Second temper affix is Storm Feather potency. Focus your masterwork on this affix. I use conceive aspect as there are not many good offensive aspects for this build. On ring, look for greater affix on critical chance. Remember attack speed and maximum life is not useful. First temper affix is Storm Feather potency. Masterwork only this affix. Second temper affix is defense cooldown reduction. You can use hunter cooldown reduction also like my second ring. Both of them are not too important. First ring I use Soothsayer which speed up the killing of mobs in the open world, as build is for flash farming. You can change it to Vehement if you use it to kill boss, as Soothsayer has no effect on boss. On the second ring the affix is same as first ring. Use Unyielding aspect for this ring as it is the most important aspect as I have discussed earlier in the video. On Spirit Hull, both upper and lower is Eagle for Storm Feather damage and critical chance. On Skill Tree and Paragon nodes, I will only focus on few important ones which I have not discussed yet earlier. You need to put maximum points on Thunder Spike to unlock the middle section of Skill Tree. The extra skill points have no other purpose. Pick Accelerated Thunder Spike as third option for apply vulnerability with evade. Brilliance is important, it gives 24% damage if you cap movement speed at 200%. Concussive Stomp I have discussed, pick the second passive as this give barrier generation. Pick Auspicious for more barrier generation. Always check your barrier bonus in the training room to ensure its value is same as your max life. Just add more skill points to Auspicious if you are below 100% barrier. You do not need to use the Amethyst gem as Emerald can increase your dexterity. We use the counter-attack skills for its passive critical strike damage bonus. It only trigger from close enemies. This passive will not apply in most of case, but we have a lot of free skill point in this build. Therefore I have included this, but keep in mind counter-attack is not an important skill. You don't even need to press it if you have too many other buttons to press, unless you are close to a hard-to-kill enemy like boss. I use Adaptive Stance as main passive, as it increases movement speed and give us 50% core stat. For Paragon nodes, I have already discussed all 4 Paragon nodes earlier. The fifth one is Spirit for critical strike damage. Put all spare nodes on dexterity to increase its damage. Also pick all nodes with critical strike damage, and all type of flat damage. If you have remaining nodes, put them to Jagged Plume, Talon, and Fulminate to increase the damage of the Eagle Spirit Hull. Remember, your damage is both Eagle and Lightning damage. Both of them are counted as non-physical damage, which you shall pick the relevant nodes. You can find the detail of Skill Tree and Paragon nodes in the Build Planner, which has Season and Non-Season version. Let me walk you through the skill rotation. First thing is to configure a secondary key for Evade button, as the default Evade key is Spacebar, which is a long and noisy key. It will be annoying to tap the spacebar all day with this build. You can add a smaller key like number 3 or 4 which you feel that is easier for you to press. If you have game mouse with programmable buttons, it will be easier as you can map it with any mouse button and make it autocast with toggle on. This may not comply with Blizzard policy, but this sit in your mouse utility. Blizzard can't do anything about it. I have been using programmable buttons with my Logitech G Hub software for 1.5 years since the game launch. For controller player, map the Evade key to R1 or L1 will make it easier to press. The skill rotation is very simple. Press all buttons exclude Concussive Stomp to activate all buff. After 3 seconds press Concussive Stomp, and then press Armor Hide again when it is up. Remember that Unyielding Hit will be activated with Guerrilla skills and lasts 3 seconds. Therefore, it is important to rotate both Armor Hide and Concussive Stomp around 3 seconds for maximum damage. For both Scourge and Hunter, press them when the skills are off cooldown. You can skip Counterattack if you don't want to press too many buttons. If you hold down the Thunderspike basic skill button, it will cancel the Evade animation and let you evade more frequently for higher DPS. You notice my Stormfeather stream has less gaps when I hold down Thunderspike buttons, which indicate more evade per second were casted. You don't need to hold down Thunderspike all the time as you can one-shoot enemies in the open world without that. Only hold down Thunderspike when you are fighting a boss to increase your DPS as the fight will take longer time. Remember to find the planner in the description section, which is built for Seasonal and Eternal Realm. That's all I would like to share with you. Thanks for watching. Please click the like button if you find this video helpful. This will help me tremendously. Stay tuned and consider subscribe for more Diablo 4 content. Thank you and have a nice day.